Welcome to the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage, where rude mechanicals do magic. Hello, I'm Bronze Age, Director of the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage. And today on the BF bench, we have a Duncan Phyfe style pedestal that's lost its footing. Now, Duncan Phyfe was an early American furniture cabinet maker, and he didn't create this style. That actually came over from Europe, but he made it very popular, because he set up work in New York with a very large shop full of cabinet makers, and they produced furniture like this on sort of a semi-mass production factory style. There would be one man who would be popular for cutting out the legs, another man that would install them. And the way that they did it is not the way it's done today. A true Duncan Phyfe table leg is set in a sliding dovetail. They've cut this dovetail shape on here, cut a dovetail shape on here, and it goes in together. And this has two purposes. First is that it greatly reduces being pulled out like that, and it also takes all the weight on the table. Later manufacturers, because obviously that's quite expensive and labor intensive, they just went to regular wooden dowels. And that brings up a problem, as the most common failure on these kinds of tables is these dowels pull out, because there's really nothing to resist that kind of a force in that direction. What we have in the case of the one on the bench today is where this grain line comes across, is that it's actually split along the grain. Sort of the second most common failure. Now, even though it did last 150 or more years, the cause of the failure is plain to see. It's just simply a weak spot in the grain, and a little too much weight on this side, and it just flipped up. Now, the simplest repair would be simply to apply glue here, clamp it back down, but that doesn't do anything to address the root cause, which was the weak grain. And the glue would be pretty strong, but the next layer underneath here or here could split away just as easily. And I want to try and prevent that. The only way to do that is to distribute the load here over a larger area of the leg. And plan A is to drill holes here and here and use a steel pin to join the two and then glue it back together. And that will move the stress of the weight of whatever is on the table further down, give it a little more leverage to be able to hold on to, and that should give us a leg that's going to last another 150, 175 years. Now, the edge of the masking tape here shows where I want the hole to go, pretty much in the center here. It won't be too difficult to get it centered this way, but I want to put the pin where there's as much wood as possible on both sides. And that means drilling a hole into here, and that has innumerable difficulties. Now, the obvious difficulty is that this is nothing but a bunch of curved surfaces with one slanted surface where the drill bit's got to go into, and there's no easy way to hold on to this while I'm drilling down here. And that, of course, calls for a jig. I've made this piece up so that the foot fits down right in here. This piece goes on top, and I'm able to clamp it down, hold it nice and tight. And these pieces with padding on the side, because when you're working with furniture, you've got to be careful not to damage the finish and end up creating more work for yourself than you already had in the first place. What this will do is this will hold the leg exactly in the position I need when I put in the drill press for the drill to go right down through here. We're at the Packard Precision 12-speed drill press. I've got this jig clamped down as tight as I can possibly get it so nothing moves. I have a 1/2-inch Forstner bit going into mahogany, which is a relatively soft wood, so we're going 2400 RPM. And the alignment pretty much by eyeball, because there's just simply nothing to measure against that is going to make a difference. Now drilling the hole in this piece presents a different kind of problem. As much as I enjoy making all these jigs for this sort of work, I just don't think that making a jig big enough to hold this thing under the drill press, which would be more like framing a house or something, is going to be worth the time or effort. There just has to be an easier way to do it. And for that, make a jig that will work with this drill. Now my choice for drilling this hole comes down to either the spade bit or regular twist bit. I'm going to go off with the twist bit because it's going down this hole in the block, and I think that'll be a better guide. Well, that came out pretty good. Now you'll notice that the pin is loose in the hole. The reason for that is it's impossible to drill a hole that will actually fit the pin tight and then both of them be lined up. So what we're going to do is we're going to fill this up with fiberglass body repair compound, and then we're going to put it back together. So to recap, I'm going to put Bondo fiberglass repair compound in the hole, set the rod in the hole, fill this piece up with fiberglass as well, put glue all around the bare wood parts, put this down, and clamp it together until it cures. Now there's a number of complications with this. Now I facetiously said that this was plan A. There is no plan B. This kind of repair, you only get one shot at it, and you've got to get it right because you can't take it apart if anything is crooked. So I have to be very careful, and sometimes that doesn't make good video. Now clamping is going to be a problem because these kinds of surfaces tend to want to slide, and the glue is a great lubricant before it sets up. So I'm going to tape this into place as close as I can get it. And drill two small 1/16" holes and what I'll do is put two finishing nails in here, which that will pin it in place as I tighten it down and keep it, and that will keep it from slipping. I only need a small amount because I don't want it to be squishing out onto the broken surface, because that'll make it hard to get a good connection. And the hardener, this tube is enough to do the entire can, so it's very easy to overdose. That might be a little bit too much there, and the more you use, the faster this stuff starts to set up. But you have to get it thoroughly mixed. This is just like mixing epoxy. You want to get it good and thoroughly mixed. And I have a special applicator. Okay, I told you this didn't make good video, and sometimes it gets worse. What I'm doing is making a Ziploc bag into a pastry bag. And what I'm supposed to do is to put the fiberglass compound down into the corner. And since I didn't do that, I have to spend a lot of time on camera squishing it around in the bag, trying to get it down into the corner, and then roll it up into a cylinder before I can use it. So, now back to the video. And now we're ready to apply it. And I'm squeezing it out of the bag as I pull it up. And here it goes. Prop that up a little bit and let it set up. And when it hardens, we can do the other side. Okay, the fiberglass is in the hole. Apply the glue. Trying to keep it away from the edges because I don't want too much squeeze out. Even though it's a little easier to clean glue off of a finished surface than off of bare wood. There we go. And this is chainsaw fuel line. I would actually prefer surgical tubing, but you can't get that at the hardware store. And there we are. This is just going to have to sit till in the morning. And then we'll worry about cleaning up these spaces where wood chipped away, because when you split wood like this, no matter how good it looks, when you put it back together, there's always a little piece missing. Well, it's a brand new day. And I have to say, I think this came out pretty nice. With this kind of a crack, even though it looks really nice when you fit it together before you do the work, there's always a loss of wood. There's just no way around that. And this being red mahogany, the solution to finish this little splits here, is going to be a red mahogany putty. I'm not going to try any kind of wood filler or anything like that. Red mahogany putty is just basically a colored putty made for this kind of trim. There is no way to make this to be a totally invisible repair without sanding down and refinishing this leg, and that means sanding down and refinishing the rest of the thing. So, this is Bronze Age for the Secret Underground Laboratory Recovery and Salvage, and I thank you for watching this video, sitting through it all the way. I really would appreciate it if you would hit the little like thing there. Subscribe if you haven't already. Comments, questions, I always answer them, and I appreciate you watching.